Okay guys, so today is Monday, June 1st, and we are going to do prepositions for page 68, and it's item number 26. And I just ask that you guys kind of have some patience with me because the internet at school is not working that well, so I'm using my cell phone. So, okay, so let's get started. We're going to actually start something new this week, but first I just want to do what we've already learned. So we should be on this side that starts with the letter from Boston for number 1. So the letter from Boston brought news of his friend. So let's go ahead and find our prepositional phrases: from Boston and of his friend. And then let's label from as our preposition, of preposition, Boston is our noun, friend is the noun, and then his is a possessive adjective. Okay? We have to look for our verb. So brought, and that's our main verb, and then letter is our subject, and then the is the adjective. Okay. So we learned last time what the complement was, and that is the noun that completes the sentence. So that would be news right here. And then if we were to look for our subject complement, we would do letter equals news, and those are not the same things. So the letter has the news, but they're not equal. So we're not going to label that as a subject complement. Instead, what I want you to do is over on the left margin, I want you to draw this little symbol for me. So the word to, and then a long line, and then for. And these are just kind of notes for ourselves. So what we're going to look at for this week are the complements, and we're going to learn to label them as indirect objects if it's appropriate. So we first need to learn what an indirect object is. So draw this little symbol for me, and then just put this note to yourself after the main verb, and you can just abbreviate MV. So what am I talking about? Let's look at the first sentence again. Let's find the main verb brought, and then we're going to draw that symbol. So that's the long line, and then we're going to write to or for. So basically what the word indirect means is if a person is indirect about something, then he or she might be like a little sneaky. We know that in is a prefix, and it means not. So it means not direct. So you can be a little sneaky. So that kind of relates to the sentence because we're being a little bit sneaky. We're going to sneak in to or for one of those words. And if we can sneak it in right after the main verb and the sentence still makes sense, then the next word becomes the indirect object, okay? So let's go ahead and practice that a little bit. So if we were to say, the letter from Boston brought to news of his friend, that doesn't make sense. And if we said the letter from Boston brought for news of his friend, that also doesn't make sense. So this complement is going to stay as just a complement. It is not an indirect object. Okay, so let's go on to number 2. So we're done. We can move forward. Number 2, at night, Grace sent her aunt a letter. So prepositional phrases, at night, and preposition and noun. Subject is Grace. Main verb is sent. And then we know that letter is a complement, right? Because what did she send? She sent a letter. And then that makes A the adjective. So now, looking at our new rule, we have to find the main verb, draw our symbol, to, for, And if we can put that in and it makes sense still, then we have an indirect object. So let's try it. At night, Grace sent to her aunt a letter. And I think that makes sense. At night, Grace sent for her aunt a letter. That one doesn't work as well as to, but to does work. So we can sneak this little word in there and it doesn't change the meaning of the sentence. So that makes the word aunt an indirect object. And the way that we're going to label that is capital I period, capital O period. All right, number 3, the teacher wanted the class to sing to visitors. So prepositional phrases, I see a to, so I'm going to check it. Look to the right and sing is something we can do. So this is a verb phrase. Another to, but visitors is a noun, so that makes this a prepositional phrase. And then let's find our subject and our main verb, wanted, and then our adjective for the subject is the. Okay. And now I know class is a complement, so I'm going to circle that, and I'm going to label the adjective the. And now our new step is finding the main verb, which is wanted, drawing our symbol to, for, and let's go ahead and try it out and see if we can sneak either one of those words in there and not change the meaning of the sentence. So the teacher wanted to the class to sing to visitors. That doesn't make sense. The teacher wanted for the class to sing to visitors. And even though that sounds a little funny because we don't normally speak like that, it technically doesn't change the meaning of the sentence. So we could sneak for in there and still have a perfectly fine sentence. So that makes class an indirect object. So I-O. And then our last one, number 4. The crowd cheered the captain after his speech. So let's do everything we've already learned. So after his speech, prepositional phrase. After is our preposition. Speech is the noun. His is a possessive adjective. And then our subject, crowd. Cheered is our main verb. The is the adjective describing the subject, and then captain is the complement, and then we have another adjective that describes the complement, the, so we want to label that. So right now we've done everything we've learned how to do. Now let's find our main verb. So this is our new step. Find our main verb, draw the line, to, for, and let's read it. The crowd cheered to the captain after his speech. That's okay, but I think for might actually sound a little bit better. The crowd cheered for the captain after his speech. So we could actually sneak that word in there and have it not change the meaning of the sentence, and we could even leave it out and it would the sentence is still perfectly fine. So because we can sneak either to or for into this sentence, captain, the complement, becomes an indirect object. So go ahead and label that. Okay, so when you do 5 and 6, just remember those steps. Do everything that you've already learned, find the main verb, draw the symbol to, for, and then reread the sentence once with to and then once with for. And again, it might sound a little funny, but if it changes the meaning of the sentence, then it is not an indirect object, okay? And if it doesn't change the meaning of the sentence, then we're good. Then you can label it an indirect object. If not, just leave it circled as a regular complement or just all alone, okay? All right, so go ahead and try 5 and 6, and we will continue for the rest of the week. And thank you. I know the video is probably like really shaky because I'm trying to hold it in my hand. So thanks for having some patience with me, and I will see you guys tomorrow.